5 million here, I have a total combined estate of 500,000. Husband has, and just for illustrative purposes, I split it up half and half. 250, 250. Okay, well, there's not a whole lot of estate tax exposure here, right? Because even if husband dies and it all goes to that side of the ledger, we're still far and away from having an estate tax problem when the survivor dies, right? Because if husband dies and it all goes over here, we still have 500 over here. That's a long way from having an estate tax problem. Well, I would argue that this couple still needs a marital tax formula. Because what if husband comes into an inheritance that we don't really know about? Or wife, or they win the lottery, or whatever it might be. So, but we want a tax formula that is very simple to administer. And this is called a disclaimer. And this is why I call it the small estate tax formula. Because if husband dies, all of the assets will go to this side of the ledger free of any credit, shelter, trust. Okay? But if they actually had 1.5 million because someone came into an inheritance, inherited $1 million of savage land, whatever it might be. Well, then let's say it was the husband. He would have 1.25 on his side of the ledger. Let's say it was his, okay? Well, when husband dies, all of the assets will go to wife's side of the ledger, but she has the ability to disclaim this $1 million or any amount, but up to $1 million, down to the credit shelter. And then the balance of 500, because we have a $1.5 million estate, would wind up in the survivor's trust. The reason this is the small estate tax formula is because if we really believe they're going to be under $1 million, well then there is no tax formula that we need to implement. Under a straight AB, it says decedent's assets are going there, and a survivor's assets are going there. Well, you wouldn't want to add to the cost of their administration of that estate needlessly if there was never really a true concern about estate taxes, but you still want a formula in there in case. And that's what a disclaimer does.